You're listening to me, Ed Davey. We're talking about Donald Trump and whether or not Keir Starmer's sort of cozying approach is the right way. Should he be more Hugh Grant from Love Actually and lay it on and be much tougher? That's what I think. I want to know what you think. So do call on 0345 6060 973. Let me go to some callers. Peter from Oxford. What do you think about this?
Hello, Ed. How are you doing? I'm a party activist, I should say. I look forward to seeing you once again at the conference in September. But on the question of Trump, I mean, back to the first, your principal stance, I think, was justified. We need more principled politicians. And on that same theme, I think we should stand up to Trump in the same way as Mark Carney has done. And I'll tell you why, because I think it was profoundly damaging at home to Starmer to see him to see him being obsequious to Trump in the White House on that visit and handing over that letter. I think that was a very bad look indeed. Now, he will say that actually gained the country concessions in terms of trade deals. Complete nonsense. The reason why the UK has a 10% tariff as against the EU's higher one is because the UK never had a trade deficit or never had a trade surplus with the US. Therefore, it's not in the US's interest to impose high tariffs. It was a purely pragmatic decision, not one that was a response to Starmer's approach. And I don't think that Trump understands deals. He talks about the art of the deal. Now, Tony Schwartz, who wrote the book The Art of the Deal, has since disowned Trump. He was a ghostwriter. He didn't think Trump ever even read the book, never mind having written it. And the reason why Trump is a bad deal maker is because to make a deal with somebody, you've got to make a promise and deliver on it. And Trump has a clear record of breaking his promises. He's done it right through his years of a state agency and with Trump University and so on, long before he even became president. Of course, in his role as president, he's been a serial liar and a deal breaker. So really, I think first of all, it's hard to respect him, but he doesn't respect people either who don't stand up to him. He's got complete contempt for what he calls losers, but he also wants to turn people into losers, which is what he's done to a certain extent to Starmer. And, it is wrong to say that Starmer's agreed to deal with him. This deal that has eluded the UK for years. All that happened was that Starmer managed to negotiate a slight reduction in what was threatened, which was unreasonable in the first place. Trump's attitude is a zero-sum gain one. And I think you've got to understand what that means is that he doesn't think that he or his friends can benefit from anything unless somebody else loses. And therefore, it's in his interest to make people lose. It's a totally transactional approach. And I don't actually believe that you can do business with people like that. I think what you've got to do is you've got to show what you stand for. I think in that sense, Mark Carney has done the right thing. And I agree with you on that point.
Peter, I think you're right that Trump's track record over many years is that he doesn't actually stick to the deals that he does. You remember when he was president first time around, he did a deal with Canada on trade. He signed it. And then now in his second term, he actually said who was stupid enough to sign that deal. And he had to be reminded that it was himself. And he's now broken that. And that's one of the things I worry about. Not only are we not really getting a very good deal from Starmer's approach, but we don't know if we're really getting any deal whatsoever. It creates massive uncertainty. It's so bad for our economy, and that's why we've got to do other things. And it's why, as you know, Liberal Democrats have argued that we need to get closer ties with our European neighbours. And, I'd ask a question to listeners. How much of a mistake have we made turning away from Europe and being forced to turn ourselves even more towards the USA when it's got someone like President Trump in the White House? We get no say about who occupies that great office. And I think we've created a real rob for our own back. We've reduced our options by not working closely with our European allies, particularly on the economy. And I think that's hurting people. I think it's hurting them in their wages. I think it's hurting them in prices in the shops. And I think it's hurting our economy. It's why we perform so badly compared to other countries. So question to you, should Keir Starmer be turning closer towards Europe? Liberal Democrats think I think he does. Do you? What do you think about how we can create an alternative to actually improve our negotiating position with Trump? Let's go to you, the callers. I've got